Hello and welcome back to the UW Esports Twitch channel. We are here with the UW Esports Night Market Tournament today. I am Horif. I'm joined by my lovely co-caster Flarfels, and we're here to provide you with some top-tier entertainment from the League of Legends 1v1 tournament. So as we're headed into the tournament, we are on our semifinals game. From the winner's side of the bracket. So our two opponents here today are Peanut19 and Ichigo. What are your thoughts on these two players so far? We've seen them dominate the winner's side of the bracket, and I'm excited to see what they can bring.
Yeah, they've both made a pretty deep run into our tournament so far. Of course, on the winner's side of the bracket, that always feels good knowing you have a bit of a landing platform to fall on if you do a fall in these later stages of the tournament. But right now, we can look at some of the bans we have here. From El Chelgo, or Ichigo, we have Rek'Sai, Lee Sin, and Akali. Some very... Well, there's one that definitely stands out. The Rek'Sai is definitely a bit of a more... probably a pocket pick. But on Aram, I don't know how that would work exactly. But then from Peanut, we have Irelia, Tryndamere, and Yone. Just some nice fighter bans out there. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
very classic bans from both sides. I think looking through the history of the 1v1 tournaments so far, I think Peanut has been pulling out quite a few ranged champions, actually, whereas Ichigo has been sticking for more of those melee fighters, such as Yasuo, Irelia, Yone. Even Zed, I think, was pulled out by Ichigo. Meanwhile, Peanut, I did see that they played a Quinn game, a Zeri game. They had Gnar, they had... what else do they have? They had a bunch of ranged champions. So I'm curious to see how this matchup will go with both players playing different types of champions.
Right now we are seeing the Yasuo hover, a pretty infamous pick in the 1v1 community or world or space we have here. Of course, Yasuo is one of the strongest, but he has a very high ceiling and a very low floor for the amount of skill that you can show off or embarrass yourself on. So hopefully it is locked in there for Ichigo. I love to see Yasuo. He's always such an entertaining pick here.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're getting a little bit of the overlay fixed because we are in a blind pick format. So I'm not sure what's going on with this support icon. You know, I think Peanut is going through a support phase here. Just gonna lock in a quick Bard here. Actually, Bard I believe is like what 15% damage buffed in ARAM, so you know, like Bard is totally viable. You could go like an AD Bard. You could whip that out on him.
Unfortunately, as much as I want to see an AD Bard absolutely smash a Yasuo right now, we do have confirmation that Peanut's pick is a Gnar, a pretty solid option. Sort of a hybrid style where you are ranged when you're mini, and then you can be that tank throwing out a bunch of melee attacks. So a nice pick from Peanut there, I'd say. A lot of versatility, especially with these 1v1 rule sets here with 100 CS or first to first blood. And yeah, I like what they're doing here. Yasuo versus Gnar, pretty solid matchup here for our first game of the day.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how Ichigo and Peanut play this out because, you know, Gnar is sort of countered when he's mini Gnar. But when he becomes Mega Gnar, Yasuo better watch his back because Mega Gnar can stun him and he's going to be able to land pretty much everything on Yasuo because his Windwall's not going to be able to do much versus, you know, the Gnar hopping onto you and stunning you. But if you are on your minions, Yasuo can dash away. So this could be a very back and forth matchup. I'm excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, and I like that you mentioned the difference between the mini and the Mega Gnar. Yasuo, he will have an easy time hopefully being able to dance around that mini bar with his dashes, and then that's the thing, he'll also always be able to know when something should be coming out and when he should feel more threatened. So we will be hopping into the game shortly. We do have to unfortunately wait for our spectator delay, but right after the break we'll be hopping right into the action.
Hello and welcome to the first game of the stream, I guess. And we are here with the winners finals or the semifinals on the winners bracket side. We have Peanut 19 against Ichigo, Yasuo versus Nar matchup. Ichigo actually does opt for the Flash Ignite, and Peanut goes for the Ignite Exhaust.
Oh, I like if we turn our eyes to the chat here, they've decided to do a handshake by feeding a Poro a nice gentleman's agreement at the start of this match, and that Poro is feeling well fed. Here at Waterloo Esports, we love to see our Poros not going home hungry. So great start to the match so far already from Ichigo and Peanut, but now the bloodshed must begin as the waves come in. Double hammer start from each of them, but Yasuo opts for the dagger, which makes sense. It is Yasuo is going to prioritize that attack speed over having armor like Peanut did. So right off the bat, we do see that not feeling so comfortable on the Mini-Gnar and wants to sustain until he gets to these later levels.
Mini-Gnar can get run down by Yasuo on these early levels, so you have to be careful. Peanut does pop a little bit early, does get hit by that Yasuo NATO, but it's no biggie. Mini-Gnar does poke from quite a while away, but Ichigo does take this opportunity to zone him with the NATOs.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to get really in close as Peanut, especially with Ichigo's dashing ability, as well as if you face tank, you always are going to lose that matchup as the Gnar right off the bat. But really, it feels like the health difference has not been that substantial already with throwing around the boomerangs and stacking up Conqueror. Is able to get some of that health back. And it feels like Ichigo is trying to stack this wave up here, but of course, there's not many other options to him. Of course, Peanut is just going to stay back and wait, so we may see some delayed action here, but hopefully once these guys start to level up a bit more, wow, there'll be some more bloodshed on this Howling Abyss yet.
Peanut about to turn Mega, is level 5, will not have that ultimate ability available to him just yet. Ichigo is going to respect the Mega Gnar. Yasuo does kind of get smacked around by Mega Gnar if Peanut does take an opportunity to jump on Yasuo, but as soon as Peanut is back in mini form, Ichigo comes in here, takes a counter shot.
Now the dynamic between Yasuo and Gnar, I feel is pretty interesting when it comes to these one-on-one poke trades, because if you're the mini Gnar when it comes to being up close, that's when Yasuo will have the advantage. But if you're a Mega Gnar, you will obviously be able to smack him around a bit more. But as Mega, you don't have these options to remain ranged. Well, Yasuo has his Tornado, has his Q, and that will outrange the autos from the Mega Gnar. So if he is able to stack his Qs, he can get a bit of poke damage up, get that Recent Temple ready, and maybe try and win a trade. But it's interesting the way the dynamic shifts. We saw that Ichigo had to give so much respect once Peanut turns Mega, and he will be going here again. And now Ichigo is just off of the camera. He wants nothing to do with that.
Yep, so Ichigo actually does have that flash advantage. So if Peanut does hop onto Ichigo is able to flash away if necessary. Meanwhile, Peanut not going to be able to flash any Yasuo NATOs, but he does have that exhaust available to him. So it could go either way here, but it's been pretty calm so far. Peanut is out farming Yasuo, being a ranged character. So I wonder if Peanut's trying to go for a farm win here, CS win with the 100 CS to win rule, or first tower or first blood. So we're gonna see how this game goes. Could be just a slower farming game.
Yeah, as the Yasuo, you're never gonna really be able to get that big wave lead. It is going to go towards the way of the ranged character. So Ichigo, you're going to have to try and pick a fight at some point, or you have to try and stack waves and get tower damage, but that doesn't seem like a very much a viable option. Already the CS difference is around 19. Got some CS there as the wave stacks and crashes, of course. But Peanut is still sitting pretty comfortably as the ranged character, being able to get these extra minion points. So Ichigo, gotta have something in the bag soon, or this could be a slow death here.
Yeah, so I think if you're in the situation as Ichigo, when you see that your opponent is playing for the farm, especially as a ranged champion, you need to try to force something. Because if you don't do anything, you're gonna be stuck losing to a CS lead.
And the thing is about having a flash advantage over Gnar, he still always has his jump, so he does have the mobility to try and escape a tornado Well, of course he's not able to right there, but if in dire situations he is able to hop out, especially when Ichigo is trying to go for those trades. Peanut opts instead of trying to trade back and forth, stack and conquer it. Instead, I'm just going to back off. I'll get these minions ahead, and I'll just outwin you.
That was a really good trade by Ichigo. He recognized that Peanut was coming out of Mega there, and there's not much that Peanut could do once he is in Mininar and so close up to that Yasuo. But it is looking like a little bit of a farm game. Not exactly the most entertaining, but it is a viable strategy. So.
And the players at this point in our tournament, they know the stakes. They've made it into our winners finals, one step away from the grand finals. And it's times like these where you want to perfect every piece of movement, but that can often have the drastic side effect of not making the plays that you really would want to if you were in nothing to lose type of situation. Now these players might feel, hey, I've made it pretty far. I can actually win this whole thing. And of course that means you might freeze up a bit. Not saying that's happening here, but it's just an alternative that we have to consider as we get into our tournament later stages.
Yep. Peanut does have that level 11 Ichigo coming in for a little bit of a melee trade here.
He does get the knockup, goes for the ultimate, and Ignite is down, and Peanut might be singing his praises. Ichigo gets the first blood, and that's 1-0 for our Yasuo here.
Okay, very well played by Ichigo. He did recognize that that was a forceful fight onto Peanut. So yeah, very well played by Ichigo. Excited to see how the next few games go. This is a best of 3 series. So it's currently 1-0 for Ichigo, and Ichigo just needs to win one more in order to get to the grand finals. We will be right back after a short break so we can get into our second game of the series. Hello and welcome back. We are about to head into game 2 of this best of 3 series, and we are back with Peanut 19 and Ichigo. So how did you feel? How did you feel after the first game? We saw, I believe, it was the Nar versus Yasuo. I don't know what's happening with the overlay there, but it was the Nar versus Yasuo matchup. So how do you think that went? How do you think that these players are going to adapt after seeing how each other played in the first game?
Yeah, so with the Yasuo versus Nar matchup, Yasuo was going to have to be the one to instigate the fight and try and capitalize on a victory before Nar is just going to win with CS. So we did see that Ichigo was able to succeed in that, got a kill after Peanut had overextended, tried to take a trade that he was not quite able to win, especially after that last breath came out. It meant that he was able to lock down the Nar, get the damage off, get the ignite, and that was just a done deal at that point. So now I feel like Peanut 19 has to reply by realizing that he can't always just wait for a CS lead to come his way, because he can slip up, and he has, and only has one more game left to spare. So
yep.
We do see a action hover right now for Peanut, and Ichigo is already locked in the Zed. How do you feel about Zed? Haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, I think Ichigo is probably comfortable on Zed. I think he did manage to win one of his prior 1v1 games on that Zed. So we're going to see that come out. Peanut 19 also very proficient on that Akshan. So how do you think this matchup goes with Akshan versus Zed here in a solo 1v1 lane?
Well, we have here another Akshan versus Zed matchup. Ranged versus melee matchup is what I meant to say with the Yasuo and the Nar. So Peanut opting again for playing the range style and trying to poke Ichigo out before he can land his full combo. Hopefully he'll be low enough health by that point he'll be able to win the trade. But yeah, so it'll just be interesting that Peanut is not opting to be the one instigating the fights after that Nar play wasn't the one that won him the game. So I think we will be heading into our spectator delay in a bit here, but I'm just excited for this winners final. Ichigo has the lead so far and could take it all the way to the grand finals with one more game, but we'll be jumping into that shortly.
Okay, welcome back to game 2 of the winners finals. This is the winners finals, I believe. This is a best of 3 series. Peanut 19 versus Ichigo. Ichigo is 1-0 right now above Peanut, but in the chat we do see again the return of the Poro feed question.
To the howling abyss.
This is an important part of playing ARAM. I believe the last ARAM tournament we hosted, it was Poro Kami that won, and Poro Kami coincidentally always fed Poros. So who's to say that feeding Poros does correlate to your success in the 1v1?
Oh, that was close there by Peanut. He was trying to stay out of the turret range. Oh my gosh. We see in the chat, bring it closer to him so he could not have to take the turret shot there. That was pretty dire because the Poros were not being cooperative there. But nice gentlemanly agreement at the start of the match. No hard feelings for match 1. Very sportsmanlike and a nice shadow poke right off the bat. But now Ichigo, not a lot of energy in the swinging already.
He is going in.
Oh, it doesn't get that third hit off the passive, and that means the minions are going to be attacking him. So all in all, that trade did go to the way of each side of Ichigo there. Wasn't able to get these minions, but of course, that's what happens when you pick the ranged character. You're going to be a little bit ahead in those early
Lots
CS
of damage
numbers.
from Zed coming out here. I think the main problem with this is that Akshan is so squishy, and Zed has such a reliable level 6 engage that once Zed does hit level 6, Akshan is going to have a really hard time stepping up like that, like doing those aggressive plays. And again, we just saw that Shadow WQ just chunked Peanut. So I think Zed as a champion into this matchup does pretty good into Akshan. But of course, Akshan can do some silly burst damage. We have seen it in the past, but considering there's no buy, it's kind of hard for Peanut to get those items in scale.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like Akshan's such an item-dependent champion. He needs to get these kills early in normal matches, but now he's just all alone with just a hammer and some potions to his name. Down to the one left with Ichigo pretty refillable. I think that was just for the gold to line up so that he was able to get his full buy. Nice boots as well as the I forgot what the ARAM sword's called. What's that? Do we remember what that starter item is?
Guardian's
Blade.
Blade. I was gonna say it was something like Guardian's Blade, but I do remember that used to be called Moonflare's Bell Blade to all my Twisted Tree Line homies out there. Unfortunately, Twisted Tree Line did get removed. Rift Twisted Tree Line. But a couple of items did get returned back into the game under different names. So Ichigo does opt for that Guardian's Blade and do quite a bit of damage to Peanut with that WQE poke. But
both players have reached level 6. The ultimate should be at the ready here. And for Ichigo, you feel like this is his point now where he is able to step up with more confidence. Peanut is given a lot of respect over at Ichigo right now with the amount of spacing, stacking the wave up nicely, just getting those minions. And now Ichigo's actually the one with the CS lead. Peanut hasn't been able, as the ranged character, to stay pushing, stay up front because of combos like that that are so just very threatening.
Mm-hmm. For sure, and also we can see that Peanut was forced to actually use 2 of his health potions already, whereas Ichigo still has both refillable pods. So Ichigo does have sustained advantage if he keeps on trying to go for some of that WEQ poke or the WQ poke. And of course, with Zed being an energy reliant champ, his energy is going to come back faster than Akshan's mana is.
Oh yeah, Peanut, he feels sort of, I feel like he's being sort of backed into a corner right now. He is able to bring up the CS to an even state right now. Throws out the Avenger Rang, just trying to get those minions down so that the wave is an even state, because of course, you're not going to be trying to fight Ichigo in his own territory when he has a wave stacked, because that is a recipe for disaster. In ARAM, it feels like the difference between the minions and Summoner's Rift is so critical in 1v1s where you have to pay attention so closely to how your health bar is doing. And right now we see the swing in, but out comes the ultimate from Ichigo. Both ignites are down, but it seems the fight's been disengaged right now. The ultimate from Peanut won't be an execute. And there comes the healing pad from Ichigo, trying to bring himself back up. He gets both actually and used both refillable potions, so he will get back up, but Peanut, you do not have a lot of health to play with, buddy.
Yeah, for sure. And also, Peanut actually did use Flash in that exchange, whereas Ichigo did not, so Ichigo does have some skill advantage here. Ichigo or Peanut is gonna have to play a little bit more carefully because he's not gonna be able to flash away if Zed does decide to jump onto him here.
Yeah, that means he won't be able to use his swing around basically for as many offensive plays. He's going to have to use that as his escape tool because otherwise the Akshan has no mobility to speak of. Meanwhile, Ichigo, he has dashes, blinks. He can do whatever he wants right now. It feels this is his fight to lose with these summer spell advantages.
I think one major thing for this matchup is like just how squishy both of them, both Zed and Akshan are. I think if either are able to combo the other properly, it could really go either way. And also Zed's death mark does come up a little bit faster than Akshan's ultimate. So if Ichigo is able to abuse this tiny little time frame where Peanut does not have his ultimate ready, then we could see something happen here. Ichigo's going for a little bit WQ poke. The ultimate is up.
Oh yeah, the ultimate is up, and it's just like you were saying. Peanut's actually alive right now, but there comes the flash to even it out. Ichigo takes the winner final best of 3, 2-0 against Peanut, kicks him down to the losers finals, and Ichigo is sitting nice and happy in that grand final spot. Nicely played from both the players, but ultimately Ichigo came out on top in both those matches.
So big congratulations to Ichigo. He is moving up to the grand finals, which will be a best of 5, and that will be against the winner of the losers finals. So this is a double elim tournament, so if you do lose, you go down to the losers bracket, and you have one more shot at making it back all the way up to the grand finals. If you do, you will manage to face the winner of the winners finals. So we will be right back as we head into our next series that we will be watching, which I believe is the losers finals. Okay, sounds good. So we'll be right back with the losers finals. Hello and welcome back to UW Esports Night Market League 1v1. So now we are here with, I believe, the losers finals. So we actually just witnessed the winners finals, and Peanut has now since moved down to the losers bracket, and so we will be seeing Peanut yet again in this game, which is the losers finals. So coming in from the rest of the losers bracket, we have Plex123. Hovering the Yasuo here, Peanut 19, going to be looking at Renekton. This is actually blind pick, so if Peanut decides to play Renekton, he is like mind gaming Plex 1, 2, 3 here. So we could see some interesting counter matchups here. What are your thoughts if Plex really does lock in this Yasuo? Not sure if he has locked it in yet, but what are your thoughts on this matchup here?
Yeah, a Yasuo versus Renekton sounds pretty deadly. I feel like, it is locked in for Peanut there. Okay, so the thing with Renekton versus Yasuo, both of them have easy engages, both have easy escapes as well, and a lot of the time they will be able to heal right back up after a trade. Renekton with his Fury, and Yasuo hopefully, or he might go lethal tempo, so Conqueror might not actually be an option for some sustain in these fights. So that sort of implies that we're going to have a bleed and dash out, little skirmishes, or just one all-in engage fight right off the bat. We see that Plex has opted, instead of for the flash, going for the exhaust, trying to mitigate any engages or trying to reduce damage in a trade. Obviously, he doesn't know that he's going to be up against Renekton, so yeah, I'm really excited to see how this could turn out, because a giant crocodile versus just a samurai, that's always going to be an interesting matchup in my books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Renekton really does have the counter pick here. Renekton really, he's a shield break for Yasuo passive, he's melee, he'll stun you, and he just does a lot of damage. He is a lane bully, and probably one of Yasuo's #1 counter picks. So I don't know, maybe Peanut 19 is like really big braining it here, because if we see from the bans that both players have brought out, so Peanut banned Irelia, Tryndamere, and Akali, whereas Plex decided to ban Akshan, Quinn, and Fiora. Maybe Peanut did see that Plex played some Yasuo games in his 1v1 series, so maybe Peanut was like, I'm going to leave Yasuo open, and he's probably going to pick Yasuo, and I'm going to counterpick with that Renekton.
Yeah, so trials and tribulations here for Plex 1, 2, 3. Going to be an interesting matchup either way. A lot of bloodshed, hopefully on the Howling Abyss, and we should be jumping into game shortly after a quick little break.
Okay, welcome back. We are here with the losers finals. This is a best of 3 series, so it looks like we are gonna see the Renekton Yasuo matchup. Peanut goes into all chat with the Poro, nothing else, nothing is required except for Poro. So we'll see if Plex understands the mission here.
Welcome to the Howling
Poro
Abyss.
handshake.
Plex? Oh,
Plex
they're
is a little
very okay. I
confused.
think they've agreed to try and get the Poro. Plex is trying to hopefully drag it away. Bring it close.
Okay,
How?
he's coming. The
Oh, look at
Poro's
the
on its
follow.
way.
Minions have spawned.
There we go. The Poro is fed. Peanut and Plex do handshake on the Poro.
Yeah.
We're gonna see very similar builds from both players here. Both have the Guardian's Hammer with cloth armor each, 3 pots each. Plex is gonna have to be playing a little bit more wary. He does have lethal tempo, which is better for those long out fights, whereas Renekton has PTA, which is there for the dash in, basically auto W auto, dash back out, and you just did half of Yasuo's health. So it's kind of there for that. So Plex gonna have to play really careful. It's gonna be a harder game for the Yasuo, but we could see some crazy Yasuo outplays this game.
There's the stash, there's the slice, and there's the stun. And as you're mentioning, Plex, that is not the trade you are favored in, buddy. And look at the healing too from Peanut there. That is a huge amount of fury on the Renekton, just healing up so quickly. It's going to be very difficult for the Samurai to find an in this game at all, because it feels pretty doomed. The trades are hard. You can't poke with your tornado because he will just heal it up. And yeah, this is going to be a very tough matchup for Plex here.
Yes, definitely this could be a farm lane for Plex,
And again,
but
PK procced.
Renekton can just jump in, no worries. Gonna stun him, you're gonna get your PTA procced, and then you're gonna dash out. It's really hard for Yasuo to respond to these Renekton trades. There's nothing really keeping Renekton in the fight there, but Peanut's gonna back off and go for health relic. Plex is gonna go for these minions.
Yeah, we will see the ultimates come out soon. Plex does have the last breath, so he could try and use that to try and save himself potentially if a dive goes wrong under tower, keep him locked in, and that could be one way that Plex tries to get the advantage over Peanut here. But of course, Peanut is just going to be completely favored in this matchup. Mind gaming the draft a bit here and is feeling the rewards. Plex now back up to full health. Hadn't had to use a pot yet, just sort of natural healing as well as the rift. And now he is the one looking to push this win minion wave in.
Renekton, being as strong as he is, still cannot fight the wrath of these 6 caster minions and the cannons, so Renekton's gonna have to back off here. It's gotta respect the larger minion wave, so Plex does have this opportunity to go in for a few of these closer trades because Peanut can't really respond to all of these minions.
And we see a bit of a recall here from Plex. Unfortunately, can't go back to base, but does have some nice animations. It's a very fancy skin that he's got on here. And the wave will be brought back to an even state. Peanut has a bit more confidence now, and Plex has a bit more respect for the Renekton powerhouse that is Peanut right now. So the CS leads is pretty minuscule right now, but of course, as the game goes on, those leads can grow and snowball a bit as waves get pushed an advantage. But right now, the state of the game is pretty even. Plex does not want to take any unnecessary trade because he knows he will not come out on the better side.
Yeah, we do see Peanut stacking up this minion wave. Plex hits the NATO, but it does literally no damage because Renekton had a little bit of a shield there. I think he might have overhealed, not sure on that one. They did have a little bit of a shield somewhere.
Yeah, somewhat importantly, if you can feel good that you got rid of that humongous Fury bar. And we saw earlier that Peanut was fine, able to just get rid of the flow shield. And now Plex, that was his only defensive tool aside from his dash to escape, but that can always be followed by Peanut. So you are relying on your flow shield a lot to break up the auto stun, auto combo. But of course, it's still just proc PTA, so it's not something you want to face. But if your flow shield is down, then you really have to give respect to Peanut right now.
Yeah, but even with the shield, you know, Renekton is a shield break champion, so pretty much every Yasuo from Renekton does counter Yasuo. But Plex might be able to outplay this one. We do see a little bit more of a farming game this time around, so we could see a potential win by CS if the game continues to go how it goes.
Yeah, and we saw Peanut in the winners finals. He knows that his back was up against the wall, and he really feels that he has to give it his all right now. Plex has been fighting through the losers bracket and has made his way to the finals. Both these players know that one wrong turn and that could be the end of their run in the tournament here. So maybe a bit more caution exhibited on the first game, but that is a nice combo onto Plex there. There's the dash, and a healing rift is popped as well. Plex does manage to stay back in it, so he can get some health back, but ultimately, Peanut, he is always going to be with.
Yep, so Plex basically rethinking life decisions here. It is a best of 3, so he does have one loss under his belt that he can take if he does decide to do so. But that does mean he's gonna have to go for 2 wins in a row, which is not exactly something that you want to take. So it's a hard spot right now for the Yasuo, but Renekton, again, very strong lane bully, gonna be able to just have Yasuo off the wave here and gonna be out CFing him by a little bit here, but
well, there's the slice, there's the dice. Plex gonna be walking away, but that cleaver is just tearing into Plex there. Does get the knockup with the tornado, but it barely feels like a tickle onto Peanut as he is gonna heal right back up with his mini wave. Plex gets the healing with back. And while we have a bit of calm time while this waves push in, unless Peanut goes for a dive, while we have a bit of calm time, I'd like to address the fact that this is going to spark so many mind games into game 2 and potential 3 when it comes to the draft, because Yasuo, he's not necessarily off the table, it's just Renekton is such a good counter pick, so is it worth the ban to try and get the Yasuo on the table by banning the Renekton?
Plex going in for a little bit of trade here.
There's the last breath down, the exhaust, the ignite, and the ultimate. The Dominus is popped, but Peanut's the one running away. We see Plex actually flashing in. There he goes for the dash and has to dash out after Tornado is missed. Now that Fury Bar is looking real intimidating. The Croc is ready to hunt, but has to settle for some minions here. The all-in doesn't amount to much.
Okay, looks like both players here are about half HP. Peanut is at 84 CS, so he's getting quite close to the 100 CS mark. Plex is going to have to do something about this here.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to just get that advantage by farming better. You have to go for the kill, or Peanut is just going to get this win through CS here. It only needs 12 more minions. That with the cannon, that should be about 2 waves and 1 more after that. So, it's done ready, but does miss. Has to go back over, but now Plex, he knows he's in a tough spot, trying to go for these picks onto Renekton, trying to go for the trades, but he barely does any damage with this Yasuo.
Yeah, the Yasuo's not doing too much damage here, but
6 minions away. This 1 wave is all that stands between Peanut and a win here, assuming he can get perfect on it right now.
Last breath is available. Plex trying his best to zone from the wave.
There comes the last breath, but there's the stun. It's a huge chunk on the Plex, and the healing from the Fury is so big here too. It's 96 CS and a nice juicy group of 3 are coming in.
3 minions.
Okay.
If he does get all 3 of these plus 1 more.
All right, 98.
Getting close,
99. Peanut just needs 1 more. Plex knows that he's down to the wire here. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so close, but Peanut decides, no, minions will not be how I go. I'm gonna get this kill, and he is up 1-0 already into this loser's final best of 3 here. Nice play from Peanut. He knew he had pushed Plex to the wall and decided to play with his feet a bit there.
Definitely a desperation play from Plex. It's basically you have to go and get that kill because you're not stopping Renekton from getting 2 more CS. You can try your best, but it's going to be really hard, especially as that Yasuo. It's going to be really hard to zone Renekton from the wave, so you really got to go and commit to that all-in and try to get that kill. So I'm curious to see how the ban phase will go for the second game. This is a best of 3 series, so currently up 1-0 for Peanut 19.
Yeah, and we will be going to a quick break.
Hello and welcome back to UW Esports Night Market League 1v1s. Today we are going back straight into the losers finals. It is Plex 123 versus Peanut 19. So this time around, the bans looking a little bit different. Plex 123 opting to ban the Akshan, Quinn, Renekton. Peanut 19 sticking with the same bans. Irelia, Trinamir, Akali. I do agree with the Renekton ban. That was very lethal last game. So we're going to see Peanut 19 hovering or locking that Twitch, and Plex 123 is hovering the Vayne right now. What are your thoughts on the Vayne pick here? I do remember Plex 123 playing a few Vayne games earlier in the bracket, so I'm curious to see how this will go.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not sure that the Vayne 1v1 has a really full potential to become unlocked at online. Vayne is a champion who, it feels like she needs a lot of items, a lot of kills, attention brought to her, or else she will just be able to, she won't be able to do anything. So compared against the Twitch, which I hope gets locked in here, an ADC versus ADC matchup is always very exciting in a 1v1. Mm-hmm. And hopefully when it gets locked in, we'll see that... there we go. So Peanut does go for the Twitch. It is blind pick, and it's interesting that they both opted for the ADC versus ADC matchup without knowing who is against the other. So I think Twitch will have the edge probably, but what do we feel about this matchup?
I think Twitch can actually outrange the Vayne, but, Vayne being Vayne, got that ultimate passive move speed and, of course, her passive move speed, so she might be able to run at Twitch. But I'm excited to see these Twitch cheeses, because I feel like Twitch is a really good cheese champ, and especially in these 1v1 situations, you don't know where the Twitch is. It's kind of scary, and then you have to kind of respect that and back off. Peanut is going to opt for the Flash Ignite still, and Plex is going to continue on with the Ignite Exhaust.
Yeah, if there's one thing I pray we don't see, though, is ruining the sanctity of the Poro Gentleman's Agreement, the handshake at the start. If there is a camouflage Twitch where the Poro is supposed to be fed, I will be very personally upset. But I think we will throw it into a quick break for our spectator delay, and then we will hop right into Game 2 of our losers finals. Plex 123, his back's to the wall. If he's hoping to make it to the grand finals, he has to win it all from here. So we will hop right into the action very shortly.
Okay, hello and welcome back. We apologize for a little bit of a delay, but we are here with the second game of the Losers Finals. It is, again, a best of 3 series, so it is Flux 123 versus Peanut 19. So I'm excited to see how this game will go. It is, Peanut 19's game to lose. He does have 1 point up onto Plex, but with Twitch being a little bit of a cheese champion, could see Plex backing off here.
Yeah, notice we see absolutely... Oh, I caster cursed it before it even happened, before I said it. We do see that the poro feeding will commence here, and they do try and feed the same one. Plex has...
They fed different poros. It's okay. Equality.
Right. Whatever.
Equality. Yeah. We're getting all the poros fed.
Yeah, so instead of 1 fat poro, we now have 2 slightly fat poros just sitting there in the mid lane, and Peanut does opt for the AP build. Of course, we did see this earlier in the year, and a bit of a resurgence for AP Twitch right now. It just feels like the better way to play him, especially when you pop that poison. In these trades, nice silver bolts from Plex there.
With the camouflage. Gonna proc that poison damage onto Flux. Peanut, even though he does opt for that needlessly large draw, is gonna go for the fleet footwork. Does offer a little bit of sustain. Plex meanwhile being for PTA. Definitely a good rune for Vayne because it double procs on your silver bolt, so it just adds that extra oomph of damage when you are autoing someone. I'm gonna want that.
Wants to go all in here. The ignite is off. The exhaust is as well, and there's the silver bullet, but the flash away from Peanut will get him to safety. The birding! Oh my! The minion! And Peanut, just like that, with one wave of a caster minion's wand, is able to pick up a swift 2-0 in this losers bracket. The losers finals will go the way of Peanut 19. He made it through the winners side of the tournament, and once he got to losers, right back up to the grand finals, where he will be facing his nemesis, the one who brought him down here, Ichigo, in a best of 5 grand final series. And I am so pumped. A nice play from Peanut, nice response with the full loading of the poison, the ignite, and of course that one caster minion orb.
The caster auto was where it is at. Oh my gosh. Plex almost thought he survived until that one minion auto did hit him in the back, and is just all that he needed to be taken down. So very short, very quick game, but it was exciting for the few short minutes it lasted. We are going to take a quick break. That was a shorter game, but we are going to have to take a quick break while we head into and prepare for our grand finals. So again, this is a best of 5 series with it is Ichigo versus Peanut 19. Peanut has returned from the losers bracket. If Peanut does win this best of 5 series, there will be a bracket reset. So that will mean that there is going to be another best of 5 series. So that means Peanut's going to have to win 2 best of 5s in order to claim the crown of Night Market League 1v1 champion. Oh. Hello and welcome back to UW Esports Night Market League of Legends 1v1. So we are back and we're getting into the grand finals. So we are into the grand finals. Ichigo versus Peanut 19 does return here. Yone versus the Gnar. Excited to see how this one goes because we did see Peanut 19 pull out the Gnar earlier today versus Ichigo playing Yasuo instead of Yone. So we're going to see the other side of the samurai coin, which we'll have Yone pulling out here.
Yeah, so we are back into our grand finals, Ichigo versus Peanut. It's a matchup we're all familiar with in this day and age. Of course, rematch from the winners finals. And yeah, as you mentioned, it's the Samurai's brother who is going to return to reface the Gnar here. And I think when we talk about the differences between the Yasuo and the Yone, with the Soul Unbound, he has so many more options to get in on the ranged Gnar without having to worry too much about the Gnar kiting backwards. So I think that Yone is going to be a pretty solid pick here. Flash Ignite for each of these champions. And yeah, this should be a pretty interesting matchup. How do we feel about just what's going to go down here?
I'm excited to see the Yone prowess. We could see like really clean Yone plays, but again, also the Gnar has a lot of potential here as well. I guess we can dive into just a listing of the bans. So Peanut 19 did ban Irelia, Trinamere, and Vayne. Ichigo did opt to ban the Rek'Sai, Renekton, and Akali. So both these players are familiar with how each other play, and they are returning for a best of 5. So each of these players, they're gonna have to win 3 games in order to win the series. If Ichigo wins the series, he will be crowned the winner. Whereas if Peanut does manage to win the series, he's going to force a bracket reset, and Ichigo's gonna have another chance at a best of 5 to redeem himself and to claim the crown as his own. Otherwise, if Peanut does win the second best of 5, then he will be crowned the winner of the 1v1 series.
Yeah, we could have a long best of 10, or a long 10 games ahead of us here. We've seen it happen before on stream back in the days of our Winter Festival tournament, I believe it was. Poor Okami eventually taking it in the end, but a huge set of games could be unfolding ahead of us, and these will be our opponents. Ichigo and Peanut 19 decide to go right off the bat for the handshake. I like that they're keeping up the the rapport between them, making sure what matters most is the pores get fed.
The Poro is fed. The Poro that Peanut did lead over there, unfortunately going to stay a little hungry, but that other Poro is pretty good now from the 2 very delicious Poro snacks that these players have both dropped into its mouth.
We saw in our first game on the stream that Peanut did opt to go for the cloth armor against the Yasuo, but now opts instead for the dagger, trying to go a bit more offensively here, realizing that his defensive style in game 1 wasn't going to be able to win him the game or win him the winner's final. So now opting instead for the aggressive playstyle, trying to go in, and there's that Soul Unbound we mentioned, but right back. That's one of the benefits of Yone. You have so much potential for that escape, and against the Mega Gnar, who's essentially throwing boulders around, if you can get that big enough distance, wait for that Fury Bar, the Rage Bar to go down, you are the one controlling the tempo of the fight, as long as you're back far enough with that Spirit. So here we go again. Gus the dash, goes for the W there, and a nice little trade.
Lots of damage coming out onto Peanut there. Mini Gnar quite squishy. Gonna try to zone Ichigo away from the healing relic. Does manage to do so, but Peanut he's forced to pop a potion here. Meanwhile, Ichigo does manage to keep all 3 of his. Mega Gnar coming in here for Peanut.
Yeah, this is the first Mega so far of the ARAM. And there's the Slam. Actually, the stun counters it. But the Boulder thrown and not going to connect onto the Spirit Unbound. Ichigo a bit worse for wear in the trade, just due to the fact that Mega Gnar is a bit of a beefcake with that health. And it goes back to normal. Has to use a potion to heal up here.
Yep, Mini Gnar squishy, does get hit by the very tip of that knockup. Ichigo level 6 now along with Peanut, but Peanut's not going to be able to use his ultimate. He does not have any rage yet, so Ichigo does hold the upper hand here because if Peanut launches a little bit too far, that minion art could be quite dead.
Yeah, you can't ever count out that 3-hit passive on the Mininar. Of course, with the boomerang, is able to poke them out very quickly and from quite a range. The difference between Yone and Yasuo as well is the fact that you don't have a flow shield that can negate one of those early boomerangs. So if you are caught out in a point where Peanut is continually attacking on you, chasing you down with those boomerangs, you could see Ichigo lose a big chunk of health here. But right now, pretty even so far. Nice crash in from Ichigo. Is going to get hit by that slow, and it feels so devastating, especially on this 1v1.
Yeah, Peanut is learning, and we see him growing as that Nard player. He understands the play style of Ichigo, and he does know how Ichigo is going to play when he does have that Mega Nard. So could see a little bit of a scuffle here. Peanut positioning a little bit more forward.
Ooh, nice sidestep from Ichigo, but the ultimate does come out. A nice stun as well as the boulder throw. Ichigo with the soul inbound trying to get the pick, but a nice jump back from Peanut is going to do him the winner of that trade. Forced to pop another pot. Each opponent now down to 1. And you see again a CS lead for Peanut, and is once again on Ichigo, the melee character, to try and find these fights, be the aggressor here. Because of course, now with the dagger, he has the option to try and be a bit more of a fighting champion, but Ichigo's the one who's going to have to try and start it off, and let's go for a bit of a trade there. Nice little poke onto Peanut, but nothing too substantial right here.
Peanut being Nard is able to just use his ults basically whenever he has Mega, because the next time he has Mega is not going to be basically until his ult is back up anyways. So decent trade earlier from Peanut. Ichigo, lots of pokes coming out onto Nard, and it's that W here.
Ooh, that was a nice chunk onto Peanut, but with the Mega, he will be getting a bit more health, bit more stats to his name, and there's the jump in with the boulder toss, a nice point blank one there. Is able to dodge around that, but with the dash, there's Ichigo. Goes a bit wide, and the stun, nice from Peanut. He's getting all these projectiles, and this could be close. The Knight is already popped on Ichigo, but the flash around, he has to wait. The dodge is the ultimate. Peanut 19 with the fancier footwork gets game 1 of our grand finals. Dodges around the Yone. He's learned from last time. This Peanut is evolving right here, and Ichigo. Now this is his first loss that we've seen. It feels like Peanut is a whole other beast right now. Taking game 1, how do we feel about that match right there?
Well, the first part of it, pretty standard, just farming. But you know, that fight there was super well played by Peanut. We saw, you know, the pixel perfect dodge. It almost seemed like Peanut couldn't dodge that Yone ultimate, but he was able to hug into the tiniest corner of the Howling Abyss, and he was able to dodge that ultimate, and you know, he managed to secure that kill onto Yone. I think the Mega Nard definitely played very, very well when he did have his Mega, and lots of damage coming out from the boulder toss, from that W stun. So I'm excited to see how these two players decide to play it out in the next few games.
Yeah, we saw some interesting personal bans. Is Nar on the list? Is Yone on the list? And now we have ourselves a much more interesting grand finals than we saw in the winners. Ichigo, this is your first taste of getting kicked down to defeat, and now we're going to have to see how he responds in game 2. Don't miss it.
Hello and welcome back. We are back with game 2 of this best of 5 series. We are returning with Peanut 19 versus Ichigo in our League of Legends 1v1 tournament. Ooh, we're gonna see some spicier picks this game. Fiora and Camille, looks like that's what is gonna be locked in, I think. So this is super exciting to see. We're gonna see a bit more of these like top laner 1v1s, which is really the 1v1 lane in League of Legends. So we're definitely going to be excited to see some of these top lane matchups. So what are you thinking about the Fiora-Camille matchup here?
Yeah, I'm always excited to see 1v1, especially between two top fighters. Fiora and Camille both, I don't know the specifics of the matchup. I'm sure it's any top laner could tell you exactly how it goes, but unfortunately my expertise is towards the bot side. But I know that both champions have so much mobility, so many options at their in their toolkit at their disposal to try and dodge around any of the opponent's mistakes or any of their attempted plays. Of course, Fiora with the parry will be interesting because it'll be interesting to see how the parry works around that hook shot. But yeah, what do we think about the matchup so far?
I'm excited to see how this goes because these are both duelists, and duelists excel in these 1v1. So we're gonna see. I think it's a very skill-based matchup. It's gonna really show how these players play, especially on these high mechanical champions. And we're gonna see the Fiora, the Camille load in, probably gonna run off and feed the Poro. Of course, it is required in these games. You know, we see Peanut always initiating the Poro feeding, and you know, just saying, last tournament Poro Kami always hit the Poro, and Peanut this time around is feeding the Poro. So you know, we could see some correlation here to wins.
Could you say some correlation? Okay, never mind. That went right over the head of probably most of the viewers right there. But we have both the Poro is well fed and the wave is crashing in here now. We see the Vital onto Peanut will be not procced actually. That boundary is a little rough, and Peanut so far in this early trade in the first few seconds does take a bit of an advantage here. The Vital disappears, and the first level up is attained here, level 4 for each of these guys. Both their ultimates are so powerful when it comes to being the one to start off the initiation, where Ichigo has trying to get those 4 vitals to get the Blossom of that health healing rift would be so critical in these fights, versus the Hextech ultimatum can be used offensively or defensively if you're under your tower or just trying to startle your opponent into try and get some tempo back into those micro play type of fights. So
Peanut is gonna opt for that PTA, a little bit of a parry. Gonna parry the Camille W, does not parry the hook shot unfortunately, but Ichigo's gonna look for a Q onto Peanut in this huge wave. So Ichigo can take a little bit of minion damage there.
yeah, Ichigo already forced to pop one of the potions, but so does Peanut to follow. And what's interesting here between the Camille and Fiora matchup that I forgot to mention is that as Fiora with the parry, if you decide to throw it up beforehand, that is an easy hookshot opportunity for Peanut, and we saw him capitalize it already. Is able to get the level 6 there with this wave crashing in. Nice follow from Ichigo, gets the minion to get that level 6. And there's the parry response, but the ultimate is popped down. Ichigo trying to go for the circle around, but the flash to follow. Hextech ultimatum, but the healing rift is doing wonders right now. Ichigo with a quick response and ties it up in the grand finals 1-1 right here. And we have an interesting series ahead of us. The blood was drawn in game 1, but Ichigo punches right back with a nice capitalization on the fact that the hookshot was already thrown out before the parry was used, and from that the tempo was his. So nice play from Ichigo. 1-1 in our grand finals.
Very well played by Ichigo. We did see the flash usage there. If he had opted for the 1v1 summoners, which are generally Ignite Exhaust, he might not have been able to get that flash onto Camille and finish him off. So that was super well played by Ichigo. Definitely shows the intricacies of the Fiora-Camille matchup, and we're gonna head straight into game 3 of this best of 5 series. Hello and welcome back to the best of 5 of our grand finals of the League of Legends 1v1 series. I think we saw the champs for a split moment there. I think that was Cho'Gath versus Zed there. Zed being Ichigo and Cho'Gath being Peanut19. Here they are, yet again. What are you thinking about the Zed versus Cho'Gath matchup here?
So, interestingly, we saw Ichigo on the Zed earlier, and he was able to dominate the Akshan. But Cho'Gath is a very different champion than Akshan. What he's trying to go for here, it's hard to tell because when it comes to in an ARAM, of course, you have your, or 1v1, you have your 100 CS win, you have your first tower or your first blood. And it feels like Cho'Gath is not going to be the one trying to initiate a first blood or first tower win. I think he might be going for a 100 CS champion win. Of course, when it comes to Cho'Gath, you have some damage that comes out, and you have a lot of sustain in the lane. So it is an overall good pick, but for 1v1, it's interesting. I don't think there's going to be too much kill pressure, but at the same time, not a lot of kill pressure from Peanut, but at the same time, I don't think Ichigo really has the same amount of pressure either, because a Zed versus this behemoth that is Cho'Gath is going to have a hard time whittling him down.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. Cho'Gath's gonna have a little bit of a hard time killing this Zed, but with the early late game Cho'Gath, we could see that Zed poke kind of. You could chunk out that Cho'Gath pretty easily because the early game Cho'Gath quite small, quite vulnerable, but the Cho'Gath sustain is pretty crazy with that passive. He's gonna be able to heal back quite a bit. So Ichigo's gonna have to look for these Zed all-ins if he does want to look for these for a kill onto Mr. Peanut19 over here. But Peanut19, he is chilling. I think he's gonna be able to play pretty safely. He does have quite a bit of self-heal if Ichigo does decide to go on him, because, again, if he times his knockup well, if he times his Q well, Zed is extremely telegraphed with where he goes, so it's going to be pretty easy for Peanut to lock down Zed if he does manage to hit either a Q, a W, and, of course, the ever-devastating ult onto the Zed, going to be able to chomp onto him and take him out. So I'm excited to see how this goes. Again, flashing next for both players here. And I think we're going to hop straight into the Abyss in just a moment here. But keeping on with that, what are you thinking about starting items? So, with the Cho'Gath, do you think he'll be playing a bit more aggressive with some AP items to start, or defensively? We're going to head in here.
Well, I guess we'll find out, and we do see that it is the Warhorn. You know what to do, says Ichigo. They both decide. I like that now they are the ones to take the initiation in feeding our Poros. In previous 1v1 tournaments, some of the players were hesitant to try and match a log for fear of being hit by a cheesy poke or some disrespectful early damage. But nice respect from each of the players here, going back to the towers. And you're right, we did see a defensive reply from the Cho'Gath, trying to... fighting to not die is essentially what he's doing here, rather than fighting to kill.
See, Peanut with the Arcane Comet, though, so you could be looking for a little bit of poke. But Cho'Gath being Cho'Gath could have mana issues if he does decide to spam abilities, but Zed not going to be able to commit too hard onto this Cho'Gath, who did opt for the Guardian's Horn and the Ruby Crystal, which gives Cho'Gath quite a bit of tankiness there.
And now we see that Cho'Gath's passive will come into full effect here. The healing after eating or successfully getting that minion kill is going to be so impactful when it comes to keeping up the sustain. We saw some early pokes already, but the nice Q knockup. Oh, actually,
auto attack doing quite a bit.
Oh, but the electrocute to follow from Ichigo, a nice reply, but the flash is forced out. But now that means Ichigo will be on the offensive. The level up from Peanut should keep him alive for now, but a good chunk on both of these players here.
Yeah, we do see Zed, however, does have the extra potion there and the purchase of the boost of speed.
Back in.
So Zed boots might be able to help him dodge a couple more of those Cho'Gath Qs, but you never know. Could be looking for some potential poke here onto the Cho'Gath, but there we see the Cho'Gath sustaining with that E ability. Lots of sustain from Cho'Gath, so it's kind of hard for Zed to play for more poke here, so he's going to have to look for those all-ins.
Yeah, we have been seeing that Peanut 19 has been great so far with the knockups. I don't think he's actually missed one yet, and if he has, it was mostly just for zoning. So nice work on the accuracy. We could be perhaps Cho'Gath is probably a pocket pick of Peanut 19, something he's very comfortable on, knows the limits of, knows how to position around this Zed, hopefully for Peanut 19 here. And so far, overall skillful play from both of these players right now, but we do have to remember that there is a time bomb that is the ultimate from Cho'Gath. He is level 6, has the feast ready, and that is an instant execute if he can whittle down Ichigo enough.
Yep, so I think Cho'Gath does have one stack so far onto a minion. His feast is coming back up soon, so if Zed does not manage to get a kill onto Cho'Gath soon, it could spell certain doom for the Zed, because as a Zed, it's going to be really hard to kill a Cho'Gath that has a couple of stacks. The extra health really makes a difference against champions such as Zed.
Yeah, and the thing is, you have to play around that timer. But once the timer's up, it means you can't fight him. But if he uses it on a minion, that means he's getting more health. So either way, the clock is against Ichigo right now. But with no flash available, could be trying to feel a bit more wary of himself. Fortunately for him, he does have the CS advantage right now due to the fact that Peanut has to respect that poke from the shurikens right now. But as the wave crashes, Peanut is evening up the lead a bit here.
Yep, Ichigo is ahead by a few CS. It's not the largest CS difference in the world, but Cho'Gath does manage to grab that second stack for himself. Ichigo does see this, gonna respect that, and we're gonna respect the larger wave here that Cho'Gath has been building up under his tower.
Alright, gold is even, CS is even right here, and now as Ichigo, you're seeing this tank ahead of you. How do you even approach this with the Comet, with the silence? There comes the spikes, but they actually don't connect. Good footwork from Ichigo. Even the electrocute with the healing from the passive is going to feel pretty measly right now.
Yeah.
And Peanut has cemented himself so far as this force to be reckoned with. This tank in this game. Ichigo, it's going to be hard to find your way in.
Yeah, definitely. I think Zed has a really hard time against these tankier champions. Cho'Gath just has way too much sustain for Zed to be able to do the classic, poke him out.
Oh, but unless you do get the ignite down, the ultimate comes around, the flash around, the spike knockup. He is silenced. It is forced to run away. There's not enough damage to get the kill. Oh,
Peanut
Ichigo
will live for
in.
another day. That was very close to silence. Did really save Peanut's life there.
Nice discipline there from Peanut, knowing that he has to wait to flash and then use the silence. If he uses it right away, then Ichigo should be able to fall off. Oh, wait!
Oh my gosh, Ichigo.
Instantly! Ichigo instantaneously just deletes Peanut. They're in a different weight class, but you take them down. Bigger they are, the harder they fall. Right over like tipping cows. That was crazy for Ichigo. I swear I blinked and I missed it.
Honestly, that was very, very fast. Peanut, unfortunately, was not able to stock up enough minions in order to save himself from the Zed burst. But this is 2-1 for Ichigo now. So, you know, we could see this series being over and this entire tournament being over in one more game. So Peanut's gonna have to pull out the big guns in this match point here. So we're gonna take a quick short break while we head into what is going to be one of our match point games potentially, or the last game of the tournament.
Yeah, it's tournament point, basically.
Tournament point,
It is
yeah.
all to the wire here for Peanut 19. He has a series to go through if he plans to make it through this grand finals, and then another series after that. So much to stack against this player. And right now, it all comes down to next game. So don't go anywhere.
Hello and welcome back. This is the tournament point match of Ichigo versus Peanut 19. Ichigo coming in from the winner's bracket and Peanut 19 coming in from the loser's bracket. So Ichigo and Peanut 19 here checking out their champions. Ichigo does opt for the Yasuo versus the Mordekaiser matchup. So I'm excited to see how this goes. Peanut actually opts for the barrier here. So what are your thoughts so far on the Yasuo Mordekaiser matchup, especially with this barrier factor?
Yeah, so Ichigo opting for his familiar pick, going with the Yasuo. We did see that that was the fall of Plex in the losers finals against the Renekton, and it might be a similar situation here versus Peanut with barrier, with that protection factor that is not hindered by Ignite like Hugh would be, which was sort of the weakness that Cho'Gath had faced in his previous game. Once Ignite was down, that's when the healing couldn't come through, getting a kill onto the minions, and that's what was allowed. That's what allowed Ichigo to be able to get that quick kill, bringing us to 2-1 where we are now. And for the Mordekaiser, I think barrier is definitely the right choice against the Yasuo. It is blind pick, but going into something like blind pick, you need to give yourself a lot of versatility and a lot of options, especially when you are backs against the wall like Peanut here is. And looking specifically at the Yasuo and Mordekaiser matchup, how do we feel about just purely on the draft, who should be coming out on top?
Mordekaiser being Mordekaiser, especially because he's a champ that excels in these melee matchups, and I don't think Yasuo Winwell blocks the Mordekaiser Q, and obviously not the W. I think Mordekaiser can come out on top, but also Yasuo, if he's able to space himself well, and if he's able to Winwell the pull from Mordekaiser, it could go either way really, but I think it is a little bit more Mordekaiser favored because he does excel so well in these melee matchups. Because, you got the Mordekaiser W passive, and you're just going to be burning the Yasuo if he does decide to sit near you. But again, spacing from Yasuo, going to really make the difference here.
All right, and as we hop into our game, 2-1 for Ichigo, the winner of the winners finals. It means that if he wins here, it all goes to him. But Peanut, even if he wins the best of 5, he would still have another one ahead of him. So the long road for Peanut 19 is laid out, and it starts with the first brick. The first step is always feeding the Poro.
Of course. Here's the Poro being led over. Feed this one Poro near the healing altar on red side. Look at that Poro
He's so
go.
happy.
Got some little heart animations going on.
What a nice little lad. Just sitting there. He's so well fed, but he is unknowing to the amount of bloodshed that will occur on this rift here shortly. A bit of a very defensive start here from Peanut with the full defensive items, 3 health potions, but Yasuo, of course, going for that all-in, trying to attack and get you down health. Nice pull there, nice slam onto Ichigo, but I don't know if the shield is fully run out yet, so the trade does go pretty even in this early start. The tornado does go wide. And both these players, you can feel them. The adrenaline is pumping.
Yeah, so that Mordekaiser defensive start actually really did help the Mordekaiser out in that trade there. Missed quite a couple abilities from both sides here, but it is no big deal. Peanut, being Mordekaiser, does have that a little bit of sustain from Mordekaiser W. Yasuo also has probably like some sort of life steal room. Peanut gonna get hit by that NATO, but no worries, you're a Mordekaiser, you are chilling right now, and you're going to be able to catch this rather largely.
Critically, the shield is popped here from Ichigo, has to back off a bit, unless he just wants to go in for the safe trade, knowing that the Q is down on the Mordekaiser, and the shield there popped as well. Could go for the healing, but opts instead just for the initial protection. And Ichigo still in the driver's seat in this matchup right now. Feels like Mordekaiser does have to wait to become online a bit more with the Death Realm. Of course, stealing away some of the stats that Ichigo will be relying on. And a nice pull there. Gets rid of the slow shield, but yeah, health bars haven't dropped below around 90% or so.
Pretty calm game so far, despite the amount of back and forth there's been. There hasn't been that much damage dealt or taken. I think the Mordekaiser with the barrier actually might be able to bait in the Yasuo. Barrier bait, it's a classic. Whenever you take barrier, if you're low, you can try to bait a fight, and they might take it and forget that you have barrier. So it's a good mind game tool, I suppose, especially in these 1v1 situations. You're not gonna be able to do a little bit with that barrier here.
Ooh, the dash through Ichigo might have bitten off a bit more than he can chew. Those casting minions are pretty hurtful, especially once Mordekaiser gets his passive AoE damage off. And Ichigo has to pop one of those potions. Of course, Peanut already did, so now they're back to even. And Ichigo still in the driver's seat for the most part, still the one controlling the tempo of these waves. He has the further and more reliable range with his Q and the dashes, always putting him in that position to take the lead here. And there's the last breath, the ultimate, but the barrier's already popped and the ignite is now down. The pose does not go through. Into the death row we go. This is where our tournament might come to a close. They're in the ultimate, but Ichigo, he doesn't want to ace of this fight. He doesn't want to fight for it. He is going to be backing away. Could have been so close there for the whole tournament. The knock up. Oh, Peanut, buddy, you got to be careful of those. He gets hit by the Q again.
Ichigo gets hit by that tower shot. That was a scary moment for Ichigo because I think Peanut's able to deny the stacks, the Q stacks, that Yasuo's able to get from his minions. So I think that was really well played by Peanut, going to be able to ult the Yasuo and make sure that basically Yasuo has no kill pressure on him there.
Yeah.
So very well played by Peanut, going to be able to prevent any potential dying there. At least for the time being, we could see another fight breaking out here. Ichigo's in the bush. Not sure if Peanut is aware of this.
Yeah, I think all Peanut saw was most likely, now that he saw them pushed out the back, going for that minion wave. A pretty solid advantage right now, about a wave or so for Ichigo in the CS department, but does get hit by another tower.
Ichigo taking a bit more damage than he would like to. Peanut is out sustaining the Yasuo here. Now he's gonna have to walk all the way back to behind his outer turret to go grab that healing relic.
Critically, Yasuo, without the Conqueror, doesn't have as much in-lane sustaining as he would prefer. Is forced to go back to get that healing pad, and that means so much of this wave tempo is completely controlled by Peanut right here. Pushes out the wave, brings the CS lead to an even. Of course, Yasuo will be able to get it once it crashes. But nice response there from Peanut, baiting in, making that tower shot so impactful to the state of the game. He's back to full health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Mordekaiser able to sustain here, especially with that Guardian's Horn, gonna be able to grab a little bit of that extra health regen. Yeah, so is with that Guardian's Hammer, gonna opt for a little bit more lifesteal instead. But, of course, health regen can always be useful, even when you're not hitting minions, such as what Peanut's doing right now. Stopping to wait for some health regen and he's back to full HP. Meanwhile, Ichigo is forced to keep hitting these minions, forced to keep pushing this wave in order to get any form of health back here.
Yeah, Ichigo once again in the control. He is able to dash through the wave and go for the tornado, making sure that Peanut has to respect the threat of the last breath and the all-in engage. He might not be able to do it now, but if he gets chunked, then you have to do it later. So nice respect from Peanut. Is going to get knocked up here. No last breath to follow. There's the flow shield being popped. And it's a bit of just a punch-in match here. Going back, but another tower shot onto Ichigo. That is going to be very impactful, but the air comes, the death realm after the last breath. But Peanut, you're looking a little worse for wear. The tornado goes wide. He is going to flash.
Okay.
Ichigo finishes it. And the grand final tournament, Ichigo, he bled once in total in the grand final. Went 0-1 to start, but a nice response back from Ichigo, goes 3 straight matches and claims the title of our 1v1 champion here in the Night Market tournament.
Mm-hmm. Very well played from Ichigo. He was able to bring out the best of his 1v1 abilities here and really show it on stream. So congratulations to Ichigo. He is our grand final winner and the official winner of the Night Market League of Legends 1v1 tournament. Also, special congratulations to Peanut19 for coming in second in a pretty big tournament. It's nothing to scoff at. Second is a pretty big deal. And to Plex123 for coming in third. So these are our top three finalists, and they will be receiving their prizing. So congratulations to these 3 players, and we look forward to seeing how our tournament pans out tomorrow in Night Market Valorant. So tomorrow we will be returning for our stream with the Night Market Valorant tournament, where we will be seeing a 5v5. Yes, it's a 5v5 format with, I think, closed bracket will be double elimination, and our open bracket will be single elim.
All right, so I think that should just about wrap up our stream here for today. Great work from all of our players. Respect for them, feeding every poro in every single match. You love to see it, the respect and just the sportsmanship from all of our players here today. So congratulations again to Ichigo, but I think that should just about wrap us up here in our stream for today.
Thank you all for coming out, and we hope to see you tomorrow.
I'm Michael Karras. I'm one of the co-founders here at Deliver. Deliver is a fulfillment service for online merchants. So essentially merchants send inventory into the Deliver warehouse network. We store that inventory on behalf of the merchant, and then when orders come in for the merchant across the various different channels, we pick, pack, and ship those items to the buyer and deliver it on time. Buyers today expect items to be delivered fast and free and on time.
We see a very direct correlation between how fast a merchant is able to get their products to people's doorsteps and how much do they sell. We are ordering more and more things online. We expect them to show up faster and faster on our doorsteps.
I think today, free two-day shipping is obviously the norm, but I see that going faster to one day into same-day shipping. We have an incredible team. They're super curious, amazing problem solvers. They come from a wide variety of backgrounds. Some people come from the technology space, other people come from logistics space, and it's a really great melting pot of ideas at Deliver.
I like working at Deliver for a whole bunch of reasons. I love the team. I love getting to work with individuals in Toronto and Chicago.
Definitely a lot of work-life balance at Deliver. Everybody really respects the fact that we all have personal lives and, sometimes things happen, doctor's appointments, family things. It's all about communication and making sure that you're keeping everybody in the loop, and as long as you've got the work that you have to get done covered, when you're not going to be around or you're able to do it remotely the same way you would do it if you're in the office, then you're able to do that, and it's an awesome perk. I love being able to work from home when I can.
I would describe Deliver's team culture as ambitious and mutually supportive.
I think one thing that Deliver enjoys is having their employees feel comfortable at work. And if you're stressed and if you're tired, you're not going to be able to produce good work.
It's really easy for me to go talk to the people in engineering or to kind of our leadership on the growth team.
One of the problems we're solving is the placement problem, trying to figure out where we should put our items.
You have all these products spread all over the country. Figure out the cheapest way to get these to the final customers to order them. When you don't know where the orders are going to come from, and the orders can come in weird patterns.
And small changes in how we make these decisions results in $1 million savings for the company.
The Deliver model is unique in that we don't own any of the underlying assets. So we've basically assembled an Uber-like network of warehouses where we leverage excess space in these warehouses across the country.
There's a lot of research and development that has to be done to figure out the best algorithms and methods that we should be using for our workflow and for our placement.
Everyone from the CEO down to the most entry-level people, they really want to know what does the data say, and they have a lot of tools to get to that. So we know exactly when a package is going to get from a certain warehouse to a certain zip code, and that's the kind of power that none of our customers ever could do on their own.
As we've launched this Deliver journey, it's been truly rewarding to see businesses do something that they could never do before.